Miraculous energy awaits. Experience the divine 8/8/8 portal with prophetic symptoms revealed. In the heart of the quaint English village of Eldergrove, whispers of the divine stirred like leaves in a summer breeze. As the fateful date of 8/8/8 approached, villagers spoke in fervent tones of the miraculous energy that would awaken a sacred portal beckoning them to experience the supernatural. Huddled together in cozy hearth-lit rooms, they shared stories of the mighty Saint Michael, their patron saint, who through faith had saved lives and changed destinies. Oh, how their hearts raced with anticipation. Among them stood Mary, a fiercely devoted woman known for her nightly vigils at the charming local chapel. The stars twinkled above, reflecting in the teary eyes of villagers who marveled at her unwavering faith. But a storm brewed within her household. An illness had begun to ravage her family, and with each passing day, hope seemed to wither like autumn leaves. Doctors were baffled, offering no answers, while the light of hope flickered dimly within Mary's heart. With each prayer whispered in the chapel's sacred quiet, Mary could feel the weight of doubt pressing down upon her. Was God truly listening? As the village stirred with excitement, balancing on the edge of profound spiritual awakening and the depths of despair, Mary found herself torn. Even as the whispers turned to collective chants of prayer circling through the village, her heart felt heavy. But as she knelt before the altar one sultry evening, memories of an ancient family devotion whispered to her heart, urging her to cling to hope. The clock struck midnight on the eve of 8/8/8, sending ripples of anticipation coursing through her veins. The air crackled with energy as she rose, trembling hands clenching an old rosary, her heart pounding like a drum of faith. All around her, the village gathered under the starlit sky, eyes glinting with divine expectation. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. With renewed vigor, Mary raised her voice in prayer, her words cascading into the night like a gentle tide. Suddenly, a rush of ethereal energy enveloped her. The heavens seemed to open, pouring visions into her mind, glorious images of green fields and joyous laughter, of families reunited and children healed. Each vision cascaded through her, filling her with a warmth she had never known. Excitement rippled through the villagers, and they, too, felt the electric undercurrent of hope washing over them. But the peace was fleeting. A shroud of uncertainty lingered as Mary grappled with the impact of her experience. What were these visions saying? As the villagers buzzed with spiritual fervor, questions simmered beneath the surface. Was this truly divine intervention, or were they all caught in a web of shared desire? Standing at the precipice of profound change, Mary sensed something stirring within the community, yet she couldn't shake the shadows of doubt from her heart. In their collective dreaming, what fragile hopes awaited reality? Would her family find healing, or the true lessons still hidden beyond the veil? As the dawn approached and darkness faded, the village braced itself for what was to come, a reckoning of faith, a test of the very essence that bound them all. The sun began to rise over Eldergrove, casting golden rays through the mist, illuminating the village with a warm, gentle light. Mary stood at her window, the visions of the previous night still fresh in her mind. Each image felt like a warm embrace, but they were also laced with uncertainty. She glanced at the small wooden cross hanging on the wall, her heart wrestling with the weight of her doubts. As she turned her gaze outside, she noticed the villagers gathering in the square, their faces aglow with excitement. They were all speaking of the energy they could feel, the divine presence that was sweeping through their lives. Yet within Mary, a turmoil brewed. How could she share these feelings when her family remained in such distress? "Mary, come join us," called out Rachel, a spirited young woman whose fervor for faith often lifted the spirits of others. She waved eagerly, her joy infectious, but Mary hesitated. She could not share their joy while her heart felt so heavy. With a deep breath, Mary reminded herself that faith was not always a feeling. Sometimes it was a choice to step out, to believe, even when shadows danced close. So, she took a step forward, leaving the safety of her home and venturing into the crowd. As she approached, the village buzzed with stories of miracles. "I felt a warmth unlike any I've ever known," exclaimed Thomas, his eyes sparkling. "It was as if the heavens were telling us all is well." Mary listened, absorbing their hope like a dry sponge soaking up rain. Yet, the gaping wound in her heart whispered doubts. Would such warmth embrace her family? Could a divine portal truly alter their fate? Gathered by the well, the village elder, Mrs. Hargrove, stood with an air of reverence. "Let us pray together," she suggested, her voice a soothing balm. The crowd grew silent, hearts aligned in a tapestry of faith and intention around one common plea. The villagers joined their voices in a harmonious hymn of hope. Mary felt her spirit lifting, the pulsating energy around them wrapping her like a cozy blanket. But as fervently as she sang with them, the reality of her family's illness weighed heavily on her soul, casting a shadow on her joy. "Help us, St. Michael!" The villagers cried out together, tears mingling with smiles. A felt sense of unity washed over Mary. In that moment, something shifted. She realized that her pain was not just hers. It belonged to all of them. They were with her, supporting her in her darkest hour. Just then, a light wind swept through the square, carrying the sweet scent of jasmine and fresh earth, invigorating the spirit. A sense of peace washed over Mary, as if this mysterious breeze whispered promises of healing in its sigh. Could it be that her family's healing was intertwined with this very moment? As she stood entwined in prayer, feeling the energy of faith flowing through the crowd, her heart began to beat in time with theirs. Their collective hope ignited a flicker of light within her own despair. But just as hope began to blossom, a chilling thought crept in. If miracles are to come, what might they demand of her? Suddenly, a figure appeared at the edge of the crowd, silhouetted against the rising sun. Mary's breath caught at the sight. Who was this arriving figure? Could they hold the key to her family's healing or a deeper revelation? What awaited the villagers and Mary as they braced themselves for the call of destiny? As the figure stepped closer, the villagers whispered among themselves, nervous energy rippling through the crowd. Mary squinted, trying to make out the features. There was an unmistakable aura around the woman, an unearthly glow that danced just beneath the surface of her skin. "Is it?" Rachel whispered, her eyes wide with anticipation. Could it be a messenger? The woman approached the well and paused, surveying the faces before her. Her deep brown eyes held a knowing kindness, as if she had seen their struggles and labored under the weight of their fears. She spoke softly, yet the richness of her voice wrapped around them like a gentle embrace. "I am blessed to be here," she began, her words flowing with a grace that seemed to soften even the hardest hearts. "The divine has guided me to Eldergrove to deliver a message of hope and healing." A shiver ran through Mary as she sensed the energy swirling in the air. The villagers leaned in, curious and spellbound. Hope surged anew, igniting something deep within her, urging her to dare believe once more. "Your prayers have echoed through the heavens," the woman continued, looking specifically at Mary as if reading her heart, "and they will not go unanswered. For your family's suffering is not without purpose. Every tear you shed holds a promise. Every sigh a step toward a greater transformation." Mary's heart raced, almost lifting from her chest. Those words pierced through her despair, but another thought lingered. Was their pain truly a path to something greater? She felt the reassuring warmth of the sun on her skin, a subtle reminder that light often follows the darkest moments. Mrs. Hargrove stepped forward, her voice cracking with emotion. What must we do? How can we help? We cannot sit idly by while miracles are asked for. We want to work with the divine. The woman smiled, an expression of profound love. Continue to gather in hope, she urged. Let your faith be a glowing beacon not just for yourselves, but for each other. In unity, you will find strength and purpose. In love, healing will blossom. The words hung in the air, filling the villagers with a sense of responsibility. Mary felt a swell of determination. She turned to her neighbors, her voice barely above a whisper. Together we can bring this healing, can we? Always, Rachel exclaimed, gripping her hand tightly. Let us gather our energy and shine it toward your family. As they began to chant softly, Mary closed her eyes, feeling the collective will of the villagers begin to coalesce into something tangible. She focused on her family, envisioning them whole and well, filled with laughter once more. The sound of their voices intertwined, creating a symphony of earnest prayer. Then, the woman raised her hands, lifting her gaze to the skies, and the atmosphere crackled with electricity. A gust of wind swirled around them, invigorating their spirits, as if the entire universe turned its attention toward Eldergrove. Colors seemed to brighten around them, and for a fleeting moment, it felt as if the very fabric of reality shifted. When the wind stilled, the woman's smile widened. In the days to come, listen for the signs. There are pieces of divine evidence yet to reveal themselves. Transformation is at your doorstep. But realize this. The journey toward healing may be filled with trials that test your faith. Mary felt the weight of her heart, each beat pounding with purpose. She marveled at the beauty of connection, the intertwining of lives within the village. What awaited her family? What trials stood between them and the healing they so desperately sought? As the mysterious woman began to step back, her figure shimmering in the sunlight, Mary felt a sudden urgency rise in her spirit. Wait, she cried. What sign should we look for? The woman turned, her eyes locking with Mary's. Trust your heart, for it knows the way. Stay open to the whispers of divinity, and do not fear the path ahead. With that, she disappeared into the mist, leaving behind a flickering stillness. A collective gasp escaped the crowd, and Mary was left, standing amidst the electric tension, her heart a tempest of hope and uncertainty. What could this journey of faith lead to, and what profound lessons waited just beyond the horizon? As the villagers stood in stunned silence, a thick blanket of energy hung in the air, the atmosphere still humming with the remnants of the woman's presence. Mary felt as if time itself had paused. She took a deep breath, trying to steady the whirlwind of emotions swirling within her. The weight of her family's struggles pressed on her mind, yet now, a sliver of possibility flickered like a candle in the dark. Did you feel that? Rachel whispered, still clutching Mary's hand. Her eyes sparkled with excitement, a mix of wonder and trepidation. What just happened? Mary nodded, a small smile breaking through her uncertainty. I think we have to act. We can't just wait for miracles to happen, right? Mrs. Hargrove cleared her throat, her voice rising above the murmurs of the crowd. Let us not waste this moment. We have been given a task, and we must embrace it together. The villagers began to stir, energy mounting as they gathered closer. Faces shining with hope, they formed a circle around the well, their collective faith shimmering like morning dew in the sunlight. Mary felt the warmth of her community's presence and embrace of unconditional love. Let us pray for guidance, Mary suggested, her heart swelling with newfound purpose. As we link our voices, let each prayer be a thread of hope woven into the fabric of our reality. With each spoken word, they infuse the air with their intentions, their voices rising like a wave. Shadows of doubt began to lift, replaced by a sacred sense of unity. It was in this moment of communion that Mary felt something shift within her, a spark igniting her spirit. Together, we can sharpen our faith, Rachel declared. Let us share our dreams, fears, and visions for healing. Mary felt a knot of anxiety loosen in her chest as she began to speak. I dream of my family laughing again, filling our home with joy. I dream of our hearts healing, embracing all that life offers. One by one, villagers shared their hopes, each voice adding to the tapestry of faith. They envisioned thriving gardens, children playing, and elders sharing stories that carried the weight of generations. With every prayer, the energy around them surged, transforming fear into determination. Then, a sudden gust of wind swept through the circle, sending a shiver down their spines. Startled, they looked around. Was it merely the breeze, or was there something more? Mary's gaze darted toward the trees lining the well, leaves shimmering as if whispering secrets. Look, someone cried, pointing upward. The clouds. They're shifting. As she followed their gaze, Mary's breath caught in her throat. Above them, the clouds formed intricate patterns, swirling into shapes that danced in the sky. Some villagers gasped. Others broke into whispers of awe. Could this be a sign? Someone wondered aloud, eyes glistening with excitement. A response to our prayers? Mary felt a rush of energy, her heart racing as she looked into the sky. Yes, yes, it could be, she exclaimed, her voice filled with fervor. The divine is listening. We are being guided. But amidst the growing excitement, a thought tugged at her mind. What if the signs were not just for them, but for something much greater? As the villagers continued to marvel at the swirling clouds, Mary felt an inkling of something profound. What if the true challenge was not just enduring struggles, but embracing their vulnerability and courage? With a deep breath, she closed her eyes, inviting the answer to reveal itself. She sensed an invitation, a call to walk deeper into faith's embrace. What would become of their journey? What manifestations of divine presence awaited them just beyond the horizon? As the last rays of sunlight dipped below the trees, Mary opened her eyes, a sense of urgency stirring within her spirit. We must prepare for the unknown, she whispered, her heart pounding with anticipation. As the village stood together, united in hope and faith, Mary felt the pull of the divine drawing nearer. What would this new chapter hold for them as they continued to listen to its whispers? As the last echoes of their prayers lingered in the air, a hush fell over the villagers. The excitement was palpable, yet an undercurrent of uncertainty swirled among them. Mary could see the hopeful glances mixed with anxious frowns, each villager grappling with the magnitude of what lay ahead. She stepped forward, her heart beating steadily in her chest. We felt the signs, but now we must act. Faith without works is like a river without banks. It flows but goes nowhere. Her words hung in the evening air like a challenge. Rachel cleared her throat, her voice shaking slightly. What do we do next? How do we move forward? Mary waved to the horizon, where the last glow of daylight faded into twilight. We gather strength from each other. Let us take this energy and channel it into something tangible. Let us start with our garden, the heart of our community. Nods of agreement spread through the circle. Despite the fading light, a spark of determination ignited within each villager. They began to talk of the garden, reviving it, revitalizing it. Mrs. Hargrove proposed planting flowers, while others suggested vegetables to share among the community. As they spoke, something remarkable happened. The winds, once a gentle sigh, shifted stronger and bolder. It felt as if nature itself was awakening to their dialogue, joining in their excitement. A whispering breeze carried the scent of earth and promise, and Mary felt invigorated. Let the garden reflect our rebirth, Mary proposed, the fervor in her voice rising. Let every seed we plant be a declaration of hope and trust in what is to come. More ideas cascaded like water flowing over stones. They talked about creating a communal space for learning, a place where stories could be shared, wisdom imparted. Children would play amidst the blooms, laughter ringing louder than the echoes of despair that had clung to them for so long. As they planned, Mary's heart swelled with renewed energy. It was more than just plants, it was healing. It was their spirit rising from the ashes. Each villager contributed, weaving their stories and dreams into the tapestry of their future, like artisans restoring a precious work of art. "Let us gather tomorrow at dawn," Rachel said, her enthusiasm infectious. "We'll bring our tools and hearts ready for work." Mary stepped back, taking a moment to appreciate the beauty in their unity. She could almost see the garden in full bloom, feel the vibrant life it would cradle. Yet, amid the excitement, a flicker of doubt whispered in her heart. What if their efforts were not enough? What if the world beyond their village was beyond repair? That thought was a fleeting shadow, soon chased away by her determination. "We must trust," she breathed softly, almost to herself. "Trust in the process, and trust in each other." The villagers began to disperse, carrying with them the energy of their intentions. Yet as Mary lingered near the well, she could feel the divine presences around her, like a warm embrace. She closed her eyes, letting her senses align with those sacred vibrations. Suddenly, a soft voice, gentle like a breeze, floated through her mind. "The first step is never the last. The journey continues." A wave of peace washed over her, filling her with inexplicable joy. There was a calling, a promise, and in it lay preparation for the unknown. But she felt the weight of a question linger. What would tomorrow reveal? What challenges would they face as they took that first step into the dawn? Would their united faith be enough to transform the whispers of fear into shouts of joy? As the stars began to twinkle in the vast expanse above, Mary looked skyward with anticipation. The night was full of wonder, and she knew this was only the beginning. What awaited them as they embraced the light of a new day? The first rays of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. A new day arrived, filled with promise and renewed hope. Mary awoke early, her heart still beating with the energy of the prayer circle. She felt the whispers of yesterday wash over her, igniting a fervor deep within her soul. Stepping outside, the cool morning air wrapped around her like a gentle embrace. The village began to stir. Sounds of soft laughter and chatter resonated as neighbors gathered at the edge of the garden plot. The air seemed to hum with potential, a divine orchestra tuning for an extraordinary performance. Mary took her place at the center, looking at the eager faces. "Let us not just plant seeds in the earth. Let us plant seeds of faith within ourselves," she said, her voice ringing clear and strong. "As we dig and sow, we are inviting blessings into our lives. Each plant will remind us of where we came from and where we are going." Encouragement erupted among the villagers. They grabbed their tools, shovels, rakes, and trowels, and looked to Mary for direction. "Let us begin," she called, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "As we turn over the soil, we are clearing a path for healing, renewal, and connection." With each thrust of the shovel into the earth, they felt a release, as if burdens were being lifted. The landscape transformed as laughter intertwined with the sounds of digging. The garden space quickly turned from a patch of despair into one of hope and life. Mary noticed Rachel, her spirit buoyant as she held up a packet of seeds. "Are we ready for this?" she asked, her eyes wide with excitement. "What if these little seeds bring forth something beautiful?" "Then we embrace it," exclaimed Mary. "Let us nurture them with love, faith, and joy. But remember, each of us must tend to the seeds in our own hearts too." As the day unfolded, they planted colors and flavors: red tomatoes, bright sunflowers, and green beans. Every seed became a symbol, a spiritual anchor. The act of planting together felt sacred. With each handful of soil, they buried their fears and watered them with unwavering hope. Hours passed, and sweat glistened on their brows, but no one seemed to notice the labor. The job became a dance, a rhythmic progression fueled by a singular dream. They shared stories of their pasts, their joys, and their uncertainties. Each tale knitted them closer, forming an inseparable bond. Just as Mary paused to catch her breath, a shimmering light broke through the canopy of leaves above them. It was a radiant beam that danced upon the ground, drawing everyone's gaze upward. Hearts quickened at the sight, a collective gasp escaping their lips. "A sign!" shouted an elderly man named Thomas, raising his hands to the sky. "Heaven rejoices with us." People began to gather, their arms stretched towards this sudden surge of divine energy. The air crackled as emotion swirled. They felt infused with hope, as if something miraculous was about to unfold. "Trust in this moment," Mary said, her spirit soaring alongside the light. "We're in unity here, and this is just the beginning. What beautiful creation is about to emerge?" All eyes sparkled with possibility as they stood together, hearts unified in faith. But as they soaked in the moment, Mary felt a sudden tug at her spirit. What did this light mean? What other trials lay ahead? The sweetness of divine mystery beckoned. They were on the edge of something profound, but how would they respond to the challenges yet unseen? Together, they stood united, energized and curious about the wondrous journey unfolding before them. What gifts would they encounter as they embraced this path of light? As the radiant pulse of light enveloped them, Mary felt the hairs on her arms rise in response. It was as if the very air pulsed with the heartbeat of creation. The villagers stood mesmerized, eyes wide, hearts open. Each person felt a connection not just to the earth beneath their feet, but to the heavens above, where infinite possibilities awaited. "Look," Rachel exclaimed, pointing skyward. "The clouds are shifting, revealing something divine." Indeed, the clouds began to part, revealing a stunning blue sky, unblemished by human touch. Sunbeams cascaded down, illuminating the vibrant colors of the garden as a breeze rustled the leaves. Hope danced in the air, whispering promises of blessings yet to come. "This is our moment," Thomas declared, his voice resonating with newfound strength. "Let us not shy away, but welcome whatever the Lord has planned for us." The villagers nodded, emboldened by his words, as though a fresh wave of faith washed over them. Mary closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. She felt the light merging with her own spirit, each pulse resonating a truth that echoed deep within her. It was a call, a divine nudge. "Let us gather," she said, motioning for everyone to form a circle around the blossoming garden. They placed their hands on the shoulders of the person next to them, a tangible expression of their unity. In that sacred moment, a deep silence fell over them, inviting reflection. Each person found themselves immersed in their own thoughts, communing with the divine, allowing the gentle glow to lead them inward. What awaited them on this spiritual journey? How would their lives change and shift? In the stillness, Mary opened her heart to the Spirit. "Guide us, Lord," she whispered silently. "We embrace those unknown challenges and place our trust in you." Gradually, whispers of gratitude swept through the circle as each villager expressed their desires and fears. Suddenly, the vibrant energy surged anew, and the ground beneath them trembled slightly. "Did you feel that?" A young man named David murmured, his eyes wide with awe. "It's as if the earth itself is alive." Mary felt it too, the pulse of divine energy flowing through them, intertwining their fates and aspirations. Yes, embrace this feeling, dear friends. Let it carry your prayers to the heavens. The air began to shimmer, and their thoughts merged into a beautiful tapestry of faith. It was as if their individual hopes took flight, becoming tangible threads woven together into an unseen divine plan. Just then, a low rumble echoed, stirring their attention. The villagers glanced nervously at one another. What did the rumble signify? Was it a warning, or just the earth's response to their gathering? Mary sensed a concern ripple through the group. "Fear not," she declared, meeting each gaze with unwavering confidence. "This is a moment of power. We stand together under God's light. Whatever comes, we shall face it as one." Just then, as if to affirm her words, a brilliant flash illuminated the sky, followed by a deep and resonant voice echoing within Mary's spirit. Prepare your hearts, for transformation is upon you." The villagers exchanged glances, a mix of wonder and trepidation evident on their faces. What transformation awaited them? What divine purpose would unfold in their midst? In that breathless moment, Mary felt the weight of destiny upon her shoulders. A path was unfolding, one that shimmered with the promise of change. What revelations would they uncover on this journey? And how would they respond to what lay ahead? With hearts racing and spirits ignited, the villagers held onto their faith as they stepped into the divine, unknown, ready to embrace the miracles that awaited them. As the light continued to dance around them, a warmth enveloped each villager, softening hearts and igniting spirits. In that moment of profound connection, Mary could feel a shift within herself. It was as if the boundaries of her being dissolved, merging into a greater whole. Was this what unity felt like? "Can you feel it?" Rachel whispered, her eyes shining with a mix of fear and joy. "It's like the air is alive, carrying our prayers." "Yes," echoed David, his voice trembling with excitement. "I can sense it too. It's as if something is awakening inside us." Mary nodded, a smile breaking across her face. "This is not merely a meeting of flesh, but a gathering of spirits. We are a tapestry of faith woven together, ready to embrace the divine purpose set before us." The villagers responded with murmurs of agreement, each heart expanding with hope. Amidst their fervor, the grass below them shimmered, sparkles of light dancing upon the blades. Thomas bent down, cupping some soil in his hands. "It's like the earth is responding to our unity. It cradles our dreams and fears." Feeling a stirring of excitement, Mary closed her eyes again. In that sacred stillness, her heart whispered a quiet prayer. "Lord, what is your intention for us? Show us the way." In an instant, the air thickened with anticipation, pregnant with possibilities. Suddenly, a surge of energy rushed through them. The villagers gasped collectively as the light intensified, allowing them to perceive an ethereal presence encircling them. "Is this a sign?" David breathed. "Are we crossing into something new?" "Yes," Mary said, feeling the rush of divine love. "We are standing on the threshold of transformation. Every yearning we have is weaving into a new reality." As her voice swelled with conviction, the villagers shared trembling looks, their breaths synchronizing like a distant choir. A gust of wind swept through the garden, lifting leaves into the air like petals in a heavenly breeze. Something beautiful unfurled. A soft, melodious sound filled the air, resonating deep within each heart. It was a harmony that spoke of hope, healing, and renewal. People began to sway gently, swaddled in the sounds of heaven, lost in the embrace of the divine chorus. "This is more than a mere gathering," Rachel exclaimed, raising her arms. "This is a calling. The heavens are inviting us to elevate our spirits and step into our true purpose." "Let us raise our voices," shouted Thomas, and the villagers began to sing. Their voices rose in unison, a powerful anthem of faith and surrender that echoed across the valley. Every note carried their collective burdens, lifting them before the throne of grace. Tears welled in Mary's eyes, flowing freely as she surrendered to the moment. "Lord, we are here. Equip us for what lies ahead." In that moment of divine unity, a bright light emerged from the center of their circle. It pulsed rhythmically, as if responding to their combined faith. The light ascended into the sky, bursting forth like a shooting star, its brilliance casting an illuminating glow over the garden. As they gazed upwards, Mary realized this was not merely a vision, but an invitation, a call to a deeper faith. What does this mean? She wondered, her heart thrumming with urgency. The villagers continued to sing, unaware that the light was transforming their individual hopes into something greater, forging a bond stronger than ever before. They stood, united under the radiant glow, hearts open, ready to embrace whatever divine mission awaited them. But as the light flickered, doubt crept into Mary's thoughts. What if they weren't ready? Could they withstand the weight of the transformation to come? With feelings swirling like leaves dancing in the wind, they waited expectantly, poised for divine revelations. What would the next step demand of them? And what miracles would the heavens unveil in the days to come? The light hovered above them, pulsating with life, radiating a warmth that reached each villager's very core. As Mary kept her gaze fixed on it, a sudden wave of understanding washed over her. This was not simply a luminous display. It was a divine presence, an invitation into something far grander than they could imagine. It beckoned them to step forward in faith. Rachel, her eyes reflecting the glow, spoke up. What if this is just the beginning? What if we are called to share this light with others? Yes, Thomas interjected, his voice full of fervor. We could bring others into this circle, into this divine moment. Hope sparked within Mary. But we must remain open and willing, she replied, her heart pounding. The path may not always be easy. Transformation often carries weight. As she spoke, a gentle breeze brushed against them, carrying with it whispers of encouragement. It felt as if the universe responded to their thoughts, assuring them that their hesitations were understood, yet still calling them to venture forth. David stood at the edge of the circle, his expression shifting from enthusiasm to contemplation. What if we lose sight of this sacred connection? What if the demands of our lives cloud this clarity? He looked around, his gaze searching each face for answers. Mary felt a pang of fear echoing in David's words. Those thoughts swirled around her mind as well. Would they remember the moment when the world sought to distract them? Let's not dwell on fear, Rachel urged, for we felt this energy together. We tasted it. If we hold on to that unity, nothing can extinguish our flame. The villagers nodded, lifting their voices once more, their anthem weaving through the garden. The harmony echoed along the valley, bringing the promise of their collective spirit to life. Let us commit to this journey, Mary proposed, voice steady against the backdrop of song. Let us take this light and purpose into our homes, our work, our lives. Excitement bubbled among them, and they began to shout out their hopes one by one. Restoration, healing, community. Each word became its own spark, illuminating the air around them. Yet amidst this passion, Mary sensed a deeper ripple. A quiet connection pulled her toward the earth. She knelt, placing her palm on the soil beneath her. Lord, she whispered, what is it you wish us to learn? Suddenly, she felt an odd tremor beneath her fingers, as if the very ground was responding to her plea. The villagers noticed her stillness and paused, the music fading for a moment. All attention turned to her, waiting for the next revelation. Mary lifted her eyes, brimming with awe. The earth is alive, she breathed. It knows our hearts, our struggles. As soon as the words left her lips, the ground glimmered with flecks of light, mirroring the light above them. Flowers began to bloom all around, vibrant colors bursting through the green, and the fragrance of life filled the air. The villagers gasped, their collective astonishment creating a sacred silence, amplifying the tangible presence of the divine. They had seen the miraculous flow right into their midst, a testament to their bond with creation itself. God is showing us that our unity extends farther than we realize. We are part of this beautiful design, Mary exclaimed, feeling the weight on her heart lift. But just when hope swelled, a new thought crept in. Would others accept this energy radiating from their gathering? Would they understand the beauty unfolding before them? As the petals danced in the gentle breeze, Mary sensed a readiness for what was to come, both the beauty and the challenge. What lay ahead would not merely transform them, but it beckoned to reach the hearts of others who needed this light. In that sacred moment, a question surfaced. How far could their newfound light go? What impact could their courage have on the world? And as they stood in awe, a spark of divine purpose ignited within them, ready to step into the unknown. Was this truly their calling? Was the world prepared for the transformation they carried? The light twinkled as if, answering their unspoken question, urging them onward. With hearts aligned and hope ablaze, They prepared to answer the call, eager to uncover what awaited just beyond the horizon. As the villagers stood in awe, the vibrant garden pulsed with life. The miracle of revival spread through each petal that burst forth from the earth, reflecting the joy swelling within their hearts. Mary felt the divine light weaving through them, binding souls in a tapestry of hope. "Look at what we created together," Rachel exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with wonder. "This energy speaks volumes. We must share this." Mary could hardly contain the excitement bubbling inside her. They had broken through despair. They had nurtured hope, and now they were birthing transformation. Their prayers had been answered in a way they had not expected. But a flicker of doubt lingered in the corners of her heart. But how do we make others believe in our miracle? She pondered aloud. What if they refused to see it? Mrs. Hargrove stepped forward, her voice steady like an anchor. "It will take faith, dear Mary, faith that transcends the barriers of understanding. We must not be daunted by challenges, but instead share our testimonies. Let them see the light that shines within us." Mary felt a surge of warmth at Mrs. Hargrove's words. "Together, we can shine," she whispered, the realization brightening her spirit. "If we each carry this divine light, we can guide others through their darkness." As if sensing their resolve, the wind picked up, stirring the foliage with promises of discovery. "We must organize a gathering," Thomas suggested, a plan forming like a dream. "Invite those from neighboring villages. Let them feel what we experienced here." Excitement rippled through the crowd. They envisioned a grand festival of light and faith, a celebration to awaken the hearts of many. Mary's heart raced. "Yes, we will open our garden to the world. Let each bloom represent our collective journey. We must share our love, our healing. Oh, think of the children. They can help plant." Rachel chimed in, her enthusiasm contagious. "Everyone can join. They can see the magic that occurs when we come together." With purpose ignited, the villagers began to organize. They mapped out the gathering, creating spaces for nourishment both of body and spirit. All around, laughter and hope filled the air as they worked, drawing water and gathering supplies in a joyful frenzy. As dusk crept over the horizon, Mary paused to reflect. She breathed in the fragrance of blooming flowers, a scent rich with the promise of courage. "What if they reject us?" she whispered to the fading sunlight. "What if they refuse our healing?" Yet, deep inside her heart, a voice reassured her, "Trust the journey." That night, under thousands of glimmering stars, they gathered around the well once more, each villager igniting candles that flickered softly in the gentle breeze. "Let this light symbolize unity," Mary said, holding her candle high. "Together, we are unbreakable." A chorus of agreement swept through the circle, the dynamic energy wrapping around them like a warm hug. The gathering was no longer merely an event. It was an offering, a vessel of love prepared to touch lives beyond their own. As they prepared to rest, Mary clutched her rosary, feeling the weight of faith tangling with excitement. In her heart, she knew every prayer had reached the heavens, intertwining with the divine threads of destiny. Morning arrived with golden light streaming into the village, awakening the garden they had nurtured. The day of the gathering was here, and they were ready to share their miracle. As visitors arrived, their faces illuminated by curiosity and a hint of skepticism, Mary felt prayer rise within her. She stood at the forefront, greeting weary souls with a smile. "Welcome," she called out, her voice strong and steady. "We have come together to share hope, healing, and the power of community." With every heart that entered, the sacred space filled with conversations of faith. Villagers shared their joy, their struggles, and ultimately their triumphs, the threads of doubt unweaving in the light of testimony. "At first, I was uncertain," a newcomer admitted, teary-eyed as she witnessed the love swirling around her. "But now, I see the beauty you all have created. You are a beacon in our shared darkness." Mary felt her heart swell. Each story added to the miracle that was unfolding. A powerful energy pulsated through the crowd. Just then, a soft melody floated through the air, inviting them into a collective song of worship. With voices raised high, the very essence of their community filled the atmosphere. It was a sound of unity, of hope, and of divine connection. As the sun dipped lower, casting a golden hue over the garden, Mary felt a cascade of gratitude sweep over her. They had stepped boldly into the unknown, illuminating a path for others. And all at once, the question echoed in her soul: what gift awaited them next? As the last note of worship drifted into the horizon, Mary knew the journey would continue, each step guided by divine love and the strength of their shared faith. Together, they would face the trials ahead, weaving their stories into a tapestry that would spark light in the world. They had crossed over into transformation, but they weren't finished igniting their hearts, spreading the flame, and inviting others to join the miraculous journey. This was only the start. And so, dear friends, take this moment to reflect on what light you carry within. How will you share it? Now is the time. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you won't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread this joy. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. You need to rise up and support this channel with your actions. Don't wait even one more second.